with your property here, so Isaac's got a gate there and you have a gate down here now, so you can access, because you live on a cul-de-sac, you now have more than one access off your property during a fire event.
Yes.
Because this road goes back to Lake Mary Road, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Like this fence line?
Yes.
And this property owner's happy for people to travel along there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I thought Isaac was telling me, so that's good. But,
So we thought, yes, because we are at the end of the cul-de-sac, we felt that it would be really important to have another escape route, so to speak.
yeah, because that fire came like all through, like right through this whole section.
Yeah, and I think it actually travelled across this way,
Yep.
Lindy was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least if we've got, two ways of
get
exiting,
off the property, that would be good.
we would feel better, yeah.
So this is the new
Firefighter unit,
firefighting unit.
this is it. So I suppose originally we were a little overwhelmed with the cost associated with getting meeting all the firefighting requirements, but when we sort of thought about it, we thought, well, you wouldn't want to not have one, basically. Anything you can do to protect your property is a good idea.
Yeah.
And we also thought, well, we won't just leave it sitting in the shed in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
It's been quite handy. We've set up a bit of an orchard, so
You can water that.
yeah, we've got to have all our own water out here.
Yeah.
So we've been using that to pump out of the creek and then use it to get down and water the orchard.
Yeah, my name is Eddie Cowie. I'm a lychee farmer from Daly Creek Tropicals. This is my father's property also. He has Daly Creek orchards. And we've been in this particular area for about 60 years in Bungundarra, and on this particular property here for 45 years. What we've got here is our bridge that essentially joins the two farms together. And what's critical about this particular bridge is it's the only all-weather access that we've got into our bore, which we've got on the bottom side of Daly Creek Tropicals, which is the main lychee component of the farm. What's ironic about this particular bridge is this bridge has been, or was originally in place for about 40 years. And what had occurred when the bridge was first established, a lot of big hollow trees were used as essentially water pipes, and they basically sat across this particular creek, and then there was dirt put on top of those, and then there was a few more concrete pipes, but essentially a lot of timber. And over a period of time, as the bridge was developed, there was more dirt, and then finally a concrete slab was put over the top of that. When the fire came through, obviously it was extremely intense in this area. There was quite a lot of tree build-up to try to stop erosion, but that also meant that we had a lot of fuel. And during the process of the fire on the 9th of November 2019, the bridge essentially caught on fire through the timbers, and this particular bridge burnt for almost 3 months. We had on 9 different occasions put 5,000 litres of water and foam on each occasion into the bridge in an attempt to try to put the fire out, but it was so deeply seated underneath the dirt, and we had no rain or runoff rain, that meant that every time we thought the fire was out, within about 2 or 3 days we started to see it smouldering. When we rebuilt, we obviously wanted to make sure that we were going to make it fireproof, so we dug out the bridge. And essentially what we did was we re-established concrete pipes and a complete dirt mound over the top of that, and from the dirt mound then we put a 6-inch layer of pumped concrete as a spillway to ensure that there is absolutely no chance at all that we'll ever lose this bridge to fire again. And essentially with the concrete and the actual pipes and hopefully the spillway, any excessive water that comes over will essentially spill over, and what we're also looking at is the reduction of erosion. So we've made sure that the concrete pushes all the way over to the edges. So again, it's about identifying how to reduce the risk in the future, and our business continuity plan said no timber whatsoever. So now we have a concrete and earth bridge. Look, while we've been establishing our orchard, and our orchard has essentially been a 25-year project, one of the things that we did early in the piece, we looked at what was going to be a good wind protection for our trees, and we really didn't consider how our wind protection as a windbreak could actually become a bit of a fire hazard as well. What we have now behind us is essentially nothing. We've actually cleaned this whole lineup, but what we did have was our golden cane as a windbreak, and as a windbreak it actually worked really effective to support essentially protection of our trees as they were growing. But certainly what it is an excellent fuel when you have a significant fire, and we have no doubts at all that the golden cane exacerbated the areas around where we are from that fire heat perspective, and ultimately one of the things that we've done is we've sat down and done some research and looked at what trees are actually giving us some type of wind protection. So they're good at breaking traditionally the southeasterly and easterly winds that we get from the coastal areas. But what trees also now are very resistant to fire, and we've started to look at of those trees what are going to be useful to us in an area which we can probably also get some fruit from. So at the moment we're looking at re-establishing behind us a line of jackfruit. One of the things that we found during the fire and talking to other people are the fact that even though jackfruit appear to be very high in a white latex style material, we found that the jackfruit on our farm actually resisted that fire particularly well. So we started to look at whether or not a viable option for us is jackfruit, and we're looking at that at the moment. We're going to do some trials, but there's also a number of native trees that we're looking at that we think we can also be putting in as both a wind and natural fire resistant tree. So there's work still to be done on that, but we're certainly looking at how that's going to be part of our business continuity plan in the future.
These are our two new tanks. It pumps up from I've got a solar powered bore down on the creek flat. So before the fire we just had one aquaplate tank. It went through the fire okay. You can see we've got poly pipes coming in and out of them. They basically burnt through the fire. So we went for two for the extra water, and I'll put a firefighting outlet over here for quick fill. But they were certainly good through the fire. Apart from the poly fittings, it didn't impact the tank at all.
Those fittings?
I was thinking of doing it, but I was really struggling with working out how I'm going to get them to fit with steel.
So if you put the granite like you've got around your shed, around all of here, that should help protect those a little bit better.
That's the plan, yeah. So I thought if I go a couple of metres out around and then just spray anything that comes up through the gravel.
Yep.